Mason Dagath just subscribed for 32 months. Welcome to the Mason Order.
Hello. Sorry about that. Had a bit of a emergency, but we're all good now. Well, we're much better than we just were, but we do still.
Hello there.
Hello. We do still have a tiny problem. We're starting back up on Tyrion Cuthbert. There's been a whole bunch of updates. There have been a bunch of content, quality of life, whole bunch of stuff they updated. Apparently, the updates were substantial enough that the original game is now available as DLC. That's how different it is. But the worst part, here's the part that's worst. Are you guys ready? Are you ready for this? That's what I came back to. They're lucky I love this game. Now, I get it. I should have finished it off. And I can only hope that maybe my save data is somewhere in that DLC, but I don't know. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, game data. Sorry, I had it up for a bit. Is that better? Anyway, sorry I'm like over an hour late. I had some issues. We had some issues. But yes, we've got some new stuff. I'm trying to upgrade the channel's production values. End of next month, you might notice, actually, maybe by the end of this month, you might notice a very small model update coming. I don't want to get anyone's like hopes up over something amazing. It will be just a tiny little detail, but an important one. But yeah, I guess we're starting over. Even this opening is okay. At least the music is fine. Can't believe this. Just yeah, but I didn't have to before either. But like, what am I gonna do? Just like I was on 4, right? Yeah. Dagworth, if you're feeling so inclined, feel free to like look up on Steam like the details of this update and if you can get your saves back for the thing. I don't know. I'm just so hesitant to restart. I'm afraid like if I hit start, I'll lose whatever I had. And it's frustrating. I'm stress eating Reese's Pieces. Anyway. Let's do this. Oh, additional character visions, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I saw that, but I guess what I should really look at is pardon me, sorry about that, is whether they have, where's, here we are. Whether they have, oh God, why did it, come on, just, whether they have a section to explain what's going on. There's gotta be something in here that's like, hey, bu- 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 where's the thing that lets you look at the community page? Community hub, here we go. Lots of cool art, but okay. Artwork, guides, discussions, maybe into discussions. Is it worth replaying the game after the update? Nearly the entire game has been rewritten. Characters have new motivations for what they do. There are entirely new scenes between chapters. Attorney's runestone. People actually respond to the runestone. Did I install the classic version? Not yet. I'm looking. Just to see, like, About the remove controller. Greatly disappointed with the new content update. Controller menu illustration. Story. Wonder if I can just search for save file. It deleted my save file in the middle of the case. I was hoping. There we are. Yeah. I guess you can roll things back. But, like, it looks very complicated. I don't know if I'm up for that particular challenge. The classic version preserves your old save. Okay, so we'll quit that. Oh, it's updating something. The reworked version would need restarting though. Okay. Okay, are we good? Okay, so how do you open the classic version? I just downloaded it. Yeah, it's in there. Is it just an option at the title screen, I assume? Just open the game and it should give you the launch option. All right. Ah, there we go. Thank you. My saves! Daggorth, you saved me. You're my hero. Holy crap, I haven't played this game in over... Okay, not over a year. Not quite over a year. Thank you so much, Daggorth. You're a real one. Okay, 11, 22, 25. 110, 25. Okay, yeah, it's got to be this first one then. I have no idea what's going on. I literally have no idea what's going on. Why are we on the prosecution side? I would like to cross-examine this witness. Please arrest Mr. Cuthbert. I'm holding him in contempt of court. I'm sorry, what? Is this an opening, like, thing? What's... Okay, here's a vitality, ancient artifact. Okay, vaguely, Beatrice's blindness, autopsy report. Oh, okay. Alright. Oh, right. Sorry. There we go. Sorry, thank you. The hell. Okay, Young was trapped in storage near William Frigga's study. He took a nap, but was awoken to the sounds of a physical struggle. He heard Frigga say, "Who are you? What do you want?" After a few more seconds, he heard the sound of someone being Okay, let me try to piece things back together. They had that special weird sword. There was a lockdown in the manor. Is it up now? Can you see it? Should be able to see it okay now. Rats in the vents. Oh, God. Armbands of intel. Okay. We're going to have to go one by frickin' one to go through this. Okay. All right. So me, Celeste, Ruby, Arya. That's good. Or okay. Eris Illmatter, Beatrice Frigga, Miriam Frigga, her little sister. This is the older sister. Okay, Wallace Nightgrave is the one we got free. William Frigga, the father. There's the weird dude with the monkey. He's the historian that was looking at the swords. Oh, wait, Crown Prince. Right, Crown Prince. Or not Crown Prince, but second in line Prince. Right, Beatrice is the eldest. Leaf is the middle. I don't have a Leaf in here. Where is Leaf? Okay, Alaric is the younger brother of her fiance, right? Oh, okay. I thought they all looked pretty much the same. I guess not. Okay, I was going to get to her eventually. Jan Hughes was the custodian. And then Lloyd von Sanctus, the dude that doesn't like us. Okay, I remember that. Anti-magic field, right? Anything within 10 feet forms a 10 feet that nullifies all magic. Any spell that enters the sphere instantly dissipates. Any mage that tries to cast a spell will fail. If the zone of anti-magic overlaps with any other magical nullification, the two effects will cancel each other out. Kuteria. And then familial bond, the caster forms an unmagical. Oh, this is what the guy has with his monkey, right? The monkey's bonded with him for life. They can choose to see through the target's eyes as long as they concentrate, and the caster can also cast spells from the location of the target creature instead of their own. Once the bond is formed, either the caster or another target can form bonds with any other creature. It can only be broken in death. Okay, so I've got my Attorney's Runestone. I've got Earrings of Vitality, or an ancient artifact, and one of the things we saw. When worn by a creature, their wounds slowly heal over time. Furthermore, its holder's lifespan increases tenfold for as long as they're worn. I really like earrings. I think I wouldn't mind wearing those. Legend says they were created by the Scaled Lord. And father was killed, right? We think it could have been Beatrice, except that she's blind. And no one knew it, right? So she's blind. She's unable to see anything through her eyes, which means she likely has a pact with an animal and used that animal to see probably rats in the vents, I'm guessing. Cause of death was blood loss after his throat was slashed open. Both carotid arteries severed, meaning his death must have followed mere seconds after the wound was inflicted. Body shows several scratch marks on the face and back. Traces. Okay, rats. Definitely rats. Murder weapon. The murder weapon is a letter opener with the House Frigga's crest, and it must have been owned by the victim. Its handle was completely shattered. It would have taken a tremendous force to crush it like that. The lockdown system covers the entire manor. Once activated, it creates magical barriers that prevent anyone from leaving or teleporting out of the building. In addition to this, it covers the entire manor in an anti-magic field. Within this field, any and all magical effects are nullified and disabled. However, anyone physically or magically connected to the Sword of Spell Eating would be immune to the effects of the anti-magic. Okay, cool. We've got floor 1. We were in the ballroom. Okay. Coat room. All right. Good. Map. Okay. All right. Method of entry. The murderer somehow entered William Frigga's study despite it being protected with abjurative wards. These wards magically locked the only door leading into the room. They also prevented teleportation in and out of the room. It's possible to temporarily nullify these wards with the Sword of Spell Eating. After meeting with Beatrice Frigga, William Frigga retreated into his study and locked himself within it. He refused to speak with almost anyone who tried to disturb him. The only person he spoke to was Leif. She told him about the theft of the Sword of Spell Eating a little after 1 a.m. but he didn't seem to care, returned to his business. Though Leif's thoughts, he entered the study to make some adjustment to his will. He was writing her out, as I recall. Celeste's sword went to the coat room to change. She was told her sword had gone missing. Someone else has taken it. We found the missing sword was in Beatrice's bedroom. There was also the room where the sword of spell eating was found after it was stolen, and these two elements might be related, obviously. Okay, then Jan was trapped in a storage room near William Frigga's study. He took a nap but awoke to the sounds of some kind of physical struggle. He heard Frigga shout, "Who are you? What do you want?" After a few more seconds, he heard the sound of someone being stabbed. The servants have frequently complained about the sounds of rats running through the vents. Jan tried to track one of them down and followed it to the storage room. Leif Frigga was due to be married to Jaden von Sanctus. This arranged marriage, hold up. 18, cool. 18. That's not, yeah. As part of a diplomatic marriage, House von Sanctus would be absorbed by House Frigga. In return, Jaden would inherit the entirety of House Frigga from Willem. Leif knew how this marriage would affect the future of House Frigga. She has expressed resistance to the diplomatic marriage and has been stalling for a time. Lord von Sanctus worries that William Frigga's death could cancel the marriage altogether. His inheritance. Beatrice Frigga fled from her family 5 years ago and went into hiding. I remember that. Until the night of the murder, many of her friends and families hadn't seen or heard from her. On the night of the murder, Beatrice finally returned home, arranged a meeting with her father. Did not end as planned. Beatrice angered William Frigga enough for him to declare he would be disinheriting her that night. Sword of Spelling is an ancient artifact wielded by a creature or anything connected to them. They are immune to all harmful magical effects. Legend says it was forged through a blood contract between a mage and a demon. On the night of the murder, someone used a powerful spell to completely shatter the magically protected glass that was containing it. It was later found in Beatrice Frigga's old room. Armbands of intellect, ancient, when worn, creature's intelligence would be increased beyond the limits of the average human. Legends say it was forged by a member of House Frigga to further study their magic. On the night of the murder, Harold Haraldson discovered the armbands were also stolen. The glass case holding the armbands wasn't shattered, and the armbands were replaced with a very convincing replica. And the artifacts on display were protected by layers of abjuration spells. Even a highly skilled mage would have trouble breaking into them. Spells that guard the displays can only be temporarily disabled using a spoken password, and Harold Harrison is supposedly the only one who knows it. Okay. All right, let's do this. Let's do this, chums. You didn't really think this through, did you? Instead of following his orders, the bailiff walks over to the judge's podium and whispers something in his ear. What? I see. Very well, then. What are they saying? It appears that Ms. Stillwin has somehow predicted this would happen. In accordance with her wishes, Mr. Cuthbert may ask as the... Okay. Right, okay. Right, I'm going against Ruby. This is... Okay, starting to make sense again. I vaguely recall this. Right. Okay. Okay, all right. I'm honestly just as surprised as you, Ms. Taimura. But Ms. Stillwin apparently designated him as her stand-in. It's unorthodox, but it's also legal. Recall something strange Stillwin asked you earlier today. So, what would you do if one of your clients was guilty? I suppose I'd withdraw and tell them to find another lawyer. And if no one else would represent them. I don't know. It would definitely be a hard choice for me. But I would never be able to represent them if I knew the truth. I can't stand by and let a murderer escape justice. I see. Steelwind, did she somehow know this would happen? Well, this isn't how I expected the trial to go. Shortly after you barged onto the prosecutor's table, Celeste awkwardly followed behind you. Curiously, she only did so after the bailiff didn't arrest you. I guess we're really doing this. What's wrong? This feels weird. We're on the other side of the courtroom. I mean, this is where the prosecutor is supposed to stand. No, this feels way too jarring. Ruby, can we switch tables? What? Please ignore her. No, this is way too weird. Tyrion, get her to switch with us. Celeste, for the love of... I genuinely do not care. Cuthbert can have this side if he wants it so badly. Oh, God. Assuming we're all at our preferred spots. We are, Your Honor. As much as you hate to admit it, you are more comfortable here. Not that you want to encourage her. Be quiet over there, Celeste. With all these interruptions, I think it's best to review the proceedings up to now. Yeah, yes. Let's review. The prosecution proposed that Beatrice Frega's motive for the murder was to claim the victor's inheritance. However, the defense brought forth a witness who testified that Beatrice was disinherited by her father 5 years ago. Am I correct, Ms. Timora? You are, Your Honor. Very well. Considering the circumstances, I think it's best to have Lady Frega repeat it. Yes, repeat your testimony, please. Thank you. Bailiff, please escort Lady Frega to the stand once more. Miss Frega, could you please give your testimony to the court once more? I need to clean off this office and desk like really badly. Of course. Oh, she's sad and scared. Okay. One day we all woke up and discovered that Beatrice had fled from our home. She left a note for us, and in it she renounced her name and denounced my father. My father later called me and my sister into his study. He told us that he'd completely disowned Beatrice and removed any claim she had to the Frega estate. It was probably a threat in case we ever chose to go down the same path she did. He wanted to make an example of her. This all happened 5 years ago. So your father disinherited Beatrice shortly after her departure? Yes, he did. As such, Beatrice would have no motive to murder her father. Any inheritance she could have received would be long gone by the night of the murder. Is that really true, though? All right. One day, that must have been a surprise for you all. Did she tell anyone about her plan? No, she didn't. She left without a word to anyone. She should have spoken with us first. It appears she's sincere about what she's saying. She left a note for us, and in it she renounced her name and denounced my father. From what I've heard about your father, I don't find that surprising. It's clear to everyone involved that my client was not treated well by her father. That's what drove her to sacrifice her claim on the Frega estate. My father had many responsibilities. He had much to consider, and that justified his treatment of your sister? Despite being her witness, Miss Timora really isn't holding back against Miriam. My father later called me and Beatrice, me and my sister into his study. He told us that he'd completely disowned Beatrice and removed any claim she had to the Frigga estate. That seemed like a drastic reaction. To her simply leaving home. My father and sister already had many disagreements before this. He'd made it clear that he wouldn't tolerate her many acts of insubordination. I imagine that this was the last straw for him. While that sounds in character for him, would William Frege really do something so extreme? Regardless of his personal feelings, House Frege holds a lot of financial and political power. Would he really change his inheritance so haphazardly? So that was 3. It was probably a threat to us in case we ever chose to go down the same path he did. He wanted to make an example out of her. That must have been very difficult for you and Leif. It was. My father wanted everything to be his way, and anyone who didn't comply was punished. That's a terrible way to treat anyone, much less his own family. This all happened 5 years ago. If this happened shortly after Beatrice fled, you must have been less than 13 years old at the time. I can't imagine how that must have been. But can we really trust your testimony if you were only a child at the time? I remember it vividly, my father's words, the look on Leif's face when she realized Beatrice was gone. I even remember the way the sun was shining through the window that morning. It's all my fault. I remember that moment with clarity. My father made sure of that. Sounds like a painful memory, and she seems to falsely blame herself for it. I'd best not press her more than necessary. You felt it while you were watching from the gallery. Part of her testimony doesn't match with what you learned from your investigation. Must have been something that Leif told you. After his meeting with Beatrice Frege, William was to speak with almost anyone who tried to disturb him. The only person he spoke with was Leif Frege. She told him about the theft of the sword. Well, seeing as how that's literally the only testimony I have. Guess I'll have to press it based on Leif. But that doesn't feel quite right. Until the night of the murder, any reference on the night of the murder. Okay, I guess we'll press. Objection. Yeah, I knew that wasn't right. Something that Leif told me. After his meeting with Beatrice Frege, William retreated. But this was from tonight. Like, this was like the recent, like, this was the murder. Meeting with him, retreated to his study and locked himself. Refused to speak. The only person spoke to was Leif Frege. Until the night of the murder, many of her families hadn't seen or heard of her. Okay. I just don't know. What is not holding up? Could it be this? I don't know. Nope, that's not it. I am way out of practice. I mean, it doesn't help that I've been, absent for like half a year on this game. What are we thinking, Dagorth? I need something that talks about, because all she's talking about is the night 5 years ago, right? So I need evidence that talks about that, but everything talks about what happened recently. Something about her stuff isn't adding up, and he thinks it has to do with his investigation and something that Leif had told him. After his meeting with Beatrice, went retreated to his study. But everything she's talking about is about the murder right now, and everything Miriam's talking about is 5 years ago. Right? So Beatrice fled, left a note, renounced and denounced father. Father called the two remaining daughters that said that he disowned her. She thinks that was a threat to make sure they didn't do the same thing, and it all happened 5 years ago. I feel like it has something to do with this one. This is the one I get the most. Because, like, if we press on this, it was hard, it was terrible. Yeah, it's got to be this one right here. It's the one that she reacts the most to. Would he really do something that extreme, regardless of personal feelings? House Frigga has a lot of potential. Would he really change his inheritance so haphazardly? So it's got to be something about changing the inheritance. And I already tried this where it looked like he was going in to change it again. Disinheriting her that night. Part of her testament doesn't match what you learned. It must have been something that Leif told you. There we go. Miss Frigg, it's clear that you're regretful of how your eldest sister was treated. That guilt must have eaten at you for all these years. Cuthbert, I know you don't have a good history with the witness, but you shouldn't rub salt in her wounds. I was merely pointing out the witness's personal connection to the defendant, Ms. Timora. She clearly regrets not standing up for her sister all those years ago. So perhaps she's trying to make up for that by lying to protect her. Excuse me, I did nothing of the sort. Miss Frigga, you testified that your father disinherited Beatrice 5 years ago. However, I have testimony from another witness who spoke with the victim on the night of the murder. After Beatrice's meeting with William Frege, he openly declared that he would be removing her from his will. He even entered his study to draft a new will to reflect that decision. So that raises the following question. Why would the victim need to declare that he was disinheriting the defendant? It doesn't make sense if he'd already disinherited her 5 years ago. Is that so? Who did you hear this from? It's clear that they have no understanding of my father's estate. They had no understanding? Miriam, this testimony came directly from your sister, Leif Frege. What? And she should have also been present during this alleged meeting 5 years ago. Ba ba ba. Well, she must be mistaken then.
NANI?!
Your Honor, how can we trust secondhand testimony from a witness who isn't here? Wouldn't it make more sense to have Leif give her testimony directly? I must agree with you, Miss Timora. Leif Frege should be allowed to clear up this misunderstanding. She looks way too confident. What is she planning? You're not sure if this was intentional, but Miriam's testimony was false. Could she be lying to protect Beatrice? And if so, was Ms. Timora expecting Leif to do the same? Bailiff, please escort Leif Frege to the stand. Ms. Frege, when we spoke earlier, you mentioned that your father decided to disinherit Beatrice, and he decided this after their meeting on the night of the murder. Is that correct? Yes, I did say that. You see, Leif, Cuthbert doubts the testimony given by our youngest sister. He seems to think that she's committed perjury. What? I wouldn't go so far as to say witness. Lying under oath is a serious crime. It would have harsh consequences even for someone of your sister's status. No, she couldn't have. Wonderful. Are you saying you can corroborate your sister's testimony? Ms. Timora, you can't just intimidate the witness. I have no idea what you're talking about, Cuthbert. I'm just telling the witness what may or may not happen, depending on what she does next. The choice is ultimately hers. So, Leif, assuming Miriam wasn't lying under oath, could you please testify to the court to confirm what your sister said? Yes, of course. You see, Miriam was quite young when my father called us into his study 5 years ago. She didn't understand what he was really doing. My father would often lie to us. It was one of the ways he kept us in line. The encounter that Miriam described was just another one of his lies. Despite their disagreements, my father would never disinherit Beatrice without a good reason. He always held on to the possibility that she would become desperate enough to return home. The truth is that none of us knew what my father was planning for House Frigga's future. See, Cuthbert, the truth is much more complicated. No one could have really known what William Frigga was planning for his estate. Leif is definitely trying to cover for Miriam, and Ms. Timora is playing her like a fiddle. Luckily for you, she's not the only person that gave her statement to you. Well then. So you're saying Miriam's testimony was based on a misunderstanding? Yes, my father was never direct with his actions. He always knew just what to say to plant the seed of doubts in people's minds. That's. I'm aware of how it sounds, but he had much to consider outside of his family. The Friggas are one of the pillars of Rivengard, after all. Keeping the family aligned with our house goals was one of his responsibilities. It's clear she doesn't agree with what she's saying. Is she in denial, or is she trying to keep the family name clean? The encounter that Miriam described was just another one of his lies. So you really think your father would lie about something so important? It was of great importance. That's why he had to lie. He wanted to make Miriam understand the consequences of disobeying him. What kind of father does that? But if he truly wanted to scare me, why wouldn't he disinherit Beatrice? Despite their disagreements, my father would never disinherit her without a good reason. Even after she renounced his name and denounced him, my father was always more pragmatic than vengeful. I imagine he expected her to fail on her own, and if she ever came back, she would be forced to rely on him. If he could make someone like Beatrice feel powerless, he could get the rest of us to fall in line. Looking back, I suppose that's all we ever were to him. Assets to be appraised and traded. The truth is that none of us knew what my father was planning for House Frigga's future. If that were true, then why would he tell you he was disinheriting Beatrice? Perhaps it was a warning. I had my own share of disagreements with him after all. Even now, I have no way of knowing if he was telling me the truth or not. That would depend on what Ms. Timora and Beatrice discussed with Lord Frigga, and right now you still have no idea what they even talked about. Did William Frigga really lie to them? From what we heard, I honestly wouldn't put it past him. He clearly had very little respect for his daughters. But there were other people he did respect. Right. Was there anyone else he would have told the truth to? I It's the one I'm most. Could it be the engagement? Sven Sanctus is absorbed, then Jaden would inherit the entire. Okay. Wait, who's Jaden? I'm lost for a moment. Jaden? 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 Who the hell's Jaden? Jaden Von Sanctus. Who is... Wait. The son of Lloyd. Right. There we go. That was his son, wasn't it? From William. Okay. Okay. No. Okay, what are we thinking? My father would often lie to us. I don't feel like there's anything about that. My father would never disinherit Beatrice without a good reason. He always had on the possibility she would become desperate enough to return home. Man, I am so out of practice for this, and I just don't remember enough of the story. Okay, so it's got to be a testimony. Okay. He refused to speak with almost everyone who tried to disturb. Again, that has nothing to do with 5 years ago. So the only things that did are this and that. So it has to be one of those. It has to be one of these, logically speaking. And I feel like it's got to be the engagement. There we go. None of us knew? Did you really have no idea about House Frega's future? No, I didn't. My father made sure of that. As I told you, he kept many secrets and wasn't above lying to manipulate us. But with Beatrice gone, you would have been the one to inherit your father's estate. Would you really be ignorant of your father's plans for House Frega? Unfortunately for you, I don't think you'd be that careless. In fact, I have it on good authority you knew exactly how William's inheritance would be divided before that night. What? Leif, according to Lloyd von Sanctus, you were arranged into a diplomatic marriage with his son. You expressed resistance to this arrangement, am I correct? I have no reason to comment on that matter. Cuthbert, the witness's personal matters are hardly any of our business. Yes, I must ask that you keep the discussion relevant to the case. Your Honor, Leif's resistance to this marriage is exactly how I know that her testimony is false. She was extremely averse to this marriage, and because of that, she made sure to know every detail of how it would affect her and her house. and that includes how House Frigga would be inherited by her future husband. So that raises the question, Leif. If you already knew the intricate details of this marriage, why would your father tell you that he was disinheriting your sister? That statement would only make sense if Beatrice was already in his will beforehand. That would render Miriam's testimony false and constitute a motive for the defendant. You present a decent argument, Cuthbert, but your claims rely on one assumption. And what assumption would that be, Miss Tymora? Even if he was lying, the victim declared that he was revoking Beatrice's inheritance. She must have already been named in the will previously. Otherwise, there'd be no need for him to say that. It wouldn't make any sense otherwise. And that's where your assumption is. You're assuming that William Frigga was acting logically. What are you talking about? It's clear that William Frigga was extremely controlling of his daughters. By your own admission, Leif Frigga was resistant to the marriage arranged by her father. In addition to that, Miriam Frigga found herself wrapped in controversy regarding the Nightgrave trial a few months ago. And finally, to make matters worse, Beatrice Frigga, the prodigal child, finally returned and made a public appearance during the Lord's ball. What are you trying to insinuate? In his eyes, William Frigga's ability to keep his daughters in line was clearly weakening. He must have gotten desperate and made a grand declaration in a feeble attempt to scare you, Leif, even if that declaration was clearly inconsistent. But he wouldn't. Your ability to remember must be muddled by the shock of your father's death. His statement couldn't have possibly been true. If by some chance it were true, that would make you guilty of perjury. Or perhaps it was Miriam that was lying in her testimony. If your father's statement were true, the court might be inclined to investigate her for lying on the stand. Damn, Miss Tymora, you are nasty tonight. Miss Tymora, are you threatening her? As I said before, I am merely stating the facts. The witness is free to act as she sees fit. I'm just asking her to consider the potential consequences of what she says next. What do I do? Damn it, she's pressuring Leif to side with her. She's clearly conflicted, though. Isn't there anything you can do? I feel a sense of clarity when I look at her. Is the eye of Horus reacting to her stress? I wonder. I'm sorry, I need time to think. Please don't stare at me like that, Mr. Cuthbert. Wait a minute. No, wait. It's too late. You did it. You activated the empowered eye. There has to be something in her mind that you can use. The state of her father's inheritance is the backbone of your case. Is there anything in her mind that can definitively prove what was on his will? Father's inheritance is the backbone of your case. Is there anything on her mind that can definitively prove this will? As much as I hate to admit it, this trial is the perfect opportunity to back out of the arranged marriage. Von Sanctus holdings are weakening by the day. I doubt he'll be able to put up much resistance. And once Beatrice inherits the estate, we might be able to rebuild our family. That confidence must mean she's certain of what was in William's will. But how do you prove that? I need to make sure that I tell the truth without harming Miriam and Beatrice. Beatrice couldn't have possibly done this, and I'm sure Miriam also has her reasons. They couldn't rely on me back then, but they can now. Hmm. Why would Miriam say those things? No, I would have remembered something like that. She must be trying to protect me. So Miriam's testimony was a conscious lie. Beatrice's inheritance wasn't revoked until the night of the murder. All those years you finally returned. I can't believe this is how things ended up. If only as I was strong as you, I'd be able to endure this. Father, I know we had our differences, but I did love you. I never wanted you to die. You know that Beatrice had an accomplishment, but your dad was Leif. Okay. Illusion. Okay, not that. How did both of the swords find their way into Beatrice's room? Could Tracker have? No. Miss McCoy's sword is one thing, but he couldn't have possibly broken into the Haraldson gallery. Although he was extremely. What does she know about House? As much as you want to follow that lead, it would be all for nothing if you can't turn the trial in your favor. Okay. Someone else was focused on it. It couldn't have been Jan, right? No, I didn't think so. What am I missing? What am I missing? It's got to be someone's profile. Who else would it be? I'm glad I can just kind of click around without consequence. That helps out a considerable amount. Ah, okay. What else would even be useful? Maybe. No. That testimony means nothing. It's got to be a profile. So who? Yeah, not the prince. Ruby Timora, I've heard stories about her. Never expect Beatrice to hire someone like her. I wonder if she'll be at the will reading tomorrow. There we go. A will reading. She must be talking about William Frega's will. Okay, so that one was a little weird, but like we found it. I believe you've had enough time for deliberation, Mr. Cuthbert. Are you able to prove the defendant's motive or not? I'm not, Your Honor. At least not yet. It's clear we won't get anywhere until we can confirm the state of William Frega's will. And we can easily confirm that tomorrow morning when William Frega's will is read to his family. How did you... I see. Once his will is read, it will become public record. I suppose I have no choice but to suspend this trial until such time that William Frega's will is read. This is ludicrous. This case against my client is completely outrageous. We've spent the entire court proceedings arguing if her motive even exists. The prosecution has very little evidence. Thank you very much, Polly.
Mason Polly _ paramedic just subscribed for 5 months. Welcome to the Mason Order.
Welcome in, Mason Polly. What'd you think? Did you like the new artwork? That was from Annie. Oh, I see future wife and not future ex-wife. Someone's getting more confident. Thank you so much, Polly. I appreciate it. Assuming I don't actually leave you. I don't know. What if I leave you for a younger man? It could happen. But yes, welcome in, Mason Polly. You are the younger one. But I can keep going younger. I can keep, gotta be a cougar out here, right? Keep you around for a few years and then trade you in. And you wouldn't be the only cougar I'm trying. Oh, who else? Now I'm curious. Who else are we looking at? The prosecution has very little evidence that physically implicates my client. My meta is older than me. Oh, your metamor? Wait, are you trying to get into a relationship with your metamor? Intriguing. While I appreciate and understand the term metamor, I much prefer berries Barry's terminology for it. She mentioned that in her household, she's dating Elmira, and Elmira is dating Ryan, but she's not dating Ryan. So while that makes him her metamor, she calls him her step boyfriend. Oh, I like the term step girlfriend. I love that. See? We're on the same wavelength. That's awesome. I love it. Okay. Miss Taimara, you clearly don't believe that the defendant had anything to do with the murder. Of course I don't. She's completely innocent. Well, if your client didn't murder the victim, who did? That's not for me. Sneaky little. Your Honor, with no other suspects, are you in a position to pass a verdict? No, I am not. Mr. Cuthbert is correct. The court does not have enough information to pass a verdict. Until the Inquisition has time to investigate these new developments, I will be suspending today's trial. We will resume the trial tomorrow afternoon. Court is adjourned. It is not a knockoff, it is an homage. It's basically Phoenix Wright if it happened in a D&D campaign. Check it. So, one, the music, as beautiful as Phoenix Wright's. But the cool thing, look, attorney's badge. Big Bear, welcome in. Hi. Attorney's badge. Autopsy reports. Weapons. Profiles. But here's the cool thing. They've also got... Hello there. They've also got spells, which you can see right here. Oh, let me get out of the way. Have a school like divination, so you know that if someone were to cast an anti-magic field, it would have to be someone who has aberration magic. And as we look through here, we can see what everyone's magic, should they have it. So like Lloyd Von Sanctus could potentially cast such a thing. But these others could not. Actually, that's probably important. I should probably remember that. But yes, welcome in, Big Bear. Hi. It is not Timu Phoenix Wright. How dare you? How dare you? Listen, it is an homage. It is not Timu. Look at how much care and love went into this. And besides, when's the last time we got a Phoenix Wright game? Come on, look at how easy it is to... Yeah, and you're curious about whether or not I'll be your ex-wife or not. Yes, I'm doing very well, Big Bear. The judge is a lot smarter, I'll give him that. Well, oh God, never, don't use that line. Well, that happened. Sorry, I kind of acted without thinking. But of everything that happened today, I can't believe that Steelwind somehow knew you would do that. Right, that is strange. Did she seriously predict what I'd do off that one conversation? Considering how things turned out, you suppose she was right on the mark. But that was still a big leap of faith. Anyways, we have some time to ourselves, so I'd very much like to catch up on some sleep. Today's been exhausting for a lot of reasons. I'm upset because we had a beautiful romantic moment. The box art picture of her and Tyrion dancing together in the ballroom in their beautiful outfits. Oh, it was so romantic. Then it got interrupted by a murder. See, at least they're not afraid to go there. Phoenix and Maya. Well, I know Phoenix was interested in Mia, but he never got up the nerve, and then she died 5 seconds into the game. But then Maya, There's something there, but neither one of them will do anything about it. Anyway, the will reading was just an opportunity to stall for time, so the question remains, who really murdered William Frege? What the hell was that? Why is your son filling in for Arya? Listen, I have the situation under control. If that's true, I'd hate to see a situation you consider out of control. I like Eris. She's a little gremlin. Eris, my father is not pleased with today's developments. You promised the verdict would be passed before William Frege's will became public record. This has thrown quite the wrench into our plans. I I understand. Cuthbert is just confused. He's not a threat to us. We'd better hope you're right, Timora. Or else your poor ward might suffer the same fate as Prosecutor Stillwind. No, Eris, you're not supposed to be a bad guy. You're so creepy cute. What? House Frege is too important of a prize for us to let go. Bring us results, Timora, or else we'll continue to take more drastic measures. Yes, let's save my progress. 8 months later, huh? Wow. Wow. For the first time since the Lord's Ball, you're finally able to get some sleep. You woke this morning refreshed, but also a little anxious about the results of the will reading. You arrive back at Frege Manor and see that Beatrice, Leif, Miriam, and von Sanctus have all gathered, along with Miss Timora, who is accompanying Beatrice as her attorney. You're not really sure what to say to her after everything you've done. The air still feels too awkward to approach her to talk about it. Executor, thank you all for coming here today. As William Frege's close associate, I must express my deepest condolences for your loss. I think I speak for all of Wyvengard when I say, enough! Just get on with it. Ahem. Very well, then. To get straight to the point, Lord Frege's will was magically sealed when it was given to me. He asked me, his executor, not to submit it to the courts for probate until after his death, although I imagine none of us expected such a time to come so suddenly. Anyway, Lord Frege's assets included sole ownership of several banking houses throughout Wyvengard, 10 million gold, and various investments. 10 million! 10 million gold. You can't even begin to imagine what anyone could do with even a fraction of that wealth. And lastly, sole control and ownership of the Frege noble house. The executor takes out a large envelope and uses a runestone to dispel the magical seal on it. I, William Frege, being of sound mind and body, do hereby declare this to be my last will and testament. I hereby give, devise, and bequeath all of my assets, property, both real and personal, to Jaden von Sanctus, provided that he enters into a legal and binding engagement with my daughter, Leif Frege, within 6 months of the date of my death. What? That's... Huh. William must have added that addendum to prevent von Sanctus from trying to steal his empire. But a legal and binding agreement is predicated on Leif accepting it. She clearly doesn't want to go through with it, so if she simply waited 6 months, von Sanctus wouldn't have any claim to the estate. In the event that Jaden von Sanctus does not enter such an engagement within the specified time frame, my assets and property shall be distributed as such. All of House Frege will be divided equally among my children as per the laws of our kingdom. Oh, you're worried. I'm sorry, Miss Timora, you're right. William Frege never disinherited Beatrice. This would make Miriam's testimony false. And since Beatrice would receive a portion of William's inheritance, she had a motive to commit the murder. You glance at Miriam. It's hard to read her expression, but something appears to be on her mind. Without a word, she walks out of the room, ignoring both Beatrice and Leif. Leif, on the other hand, seems to be in good spirits. Isn't this great, Beatrice? You can lead House Frigga now. Just how it should have been. Actually, about that, in light of recent events, I believe I should clarify one thing. As per the Slayer rule, if Beatrice Frigga is found guilty in the current court case, her inheritance will be revoked and divided between you and your sister. I see. I shouldn't feel so happy for myself. Oh, that's an awkward one, huh? That can't be all, can it? Surely William added a note of Leif's obligation to marry my son. I'm not sure what you're trying to imply. Leif Frege is an adult with legal autonomy. She is free to make whatever decision she wishes about who she legally marries. Now, if you'll excuse me. Wait, we're not finished yet. Come back here. I'd love to catch up with you, Leif, but I was only allowed out of my cell to attend the reading. You noticed an Inquisition knight outside the door. He seems to be watching Beatrice intently. But don't worry, I'm sure once this misunderstanding is resolved, we can talk all we want about my family's future. A group of knights lead Beatrice out of the manor, and Leif follows after them, leaving you and Celeste alone with Miss Timora. About what I did, look, I'm not angry, Cuthbert. Oh, it was an extremely unforeseen situation, and still one clearly put you on the spot. You felt pressured to do something and you made a rash decision, but I'm sure the court will understand if you withdraw. Wait, what? Cuthbert, you're not a prosecutor. You know that, right? Didn't you become an attorney to defend persecuted mages? But Beatrice is guilty. I saw it. I'm not going to argue about this again. You are going to withdraw. This is not up for discussion. You've always regarded and respected Miss Timora, but I suppose that's always made you deeply scared of disappointing her. Perhaps she's right. She knows more about what's going on than you do, and she's still your mentor. You want to believe that. You really do. But deep down, you know this is wrong. Miss Timora may believe in Beatrice's innocence, but I can't just abandon the case and let her escape justice. Your hands are trembling. Why are you so scared right now? You know what you have to say, but the words won't leave your mouth. From behind you, you feel Celeste hold your trembling hand. It's warm and comforting. The same sensation you felt back then. Somehow you can feel it through her hand, as if she's silently telling you, you know what you have to do. Your anxiety fades, and you take a deep breath. I'm not going to do that, Ms. Timora. What? You said it yourself. Our court system needs a defense attorney and a prosecutor of equal power to keep things fair. That's not what I'm not going to withdraw. If you believe in Beatrice's innocence, and if you truly believe you're on the right side, then prove it by beating me. Fine. Do what you want, but you're only going to make things harder for everyone.
Hello there.
Hello there, Slime. Hello. How you doing, hon? Welcome in. How's everyone? How y'all doing tonight? So glad to see you. We're playing Tyrion Cuthbert. Tyrion. As soon as Miss Timora steps out of the room, your body drops to the floor. Whatever bravery you felt before got replaced with an extreme amount of fatigue. Pretty good. Just woke up. Oh, right, Slime. You're not in the U.S., are you? You're UK, aren't you? Which would put you somewhere around 7 a.m., 8 a.m. Am I right there? Am I in the ballpark? Am I in the football pitch? Am I in the cricket field? UK is 8:35. Wait, Big Bear, are you in the UK too? I always love learning where everyone's from. Ah, I feel so sad that I haven't really gotten to visit England. Well, the UK in general, the whole kit and caboodle. I got to go through Europe, and I was within the borders of England for what that matters. I was in Heathrow Airport, but I wasn't legally within the country because you have to actually like leave the airport to be considered in the country, right? So yeah, no passport stamp. They sigh. Oh well, I'm sure I'll get a chance. I'm more than UK. I'm a Yorkshireman. You're a Yorkshireman. Oh my goodness, I have no idea what that means, but it sounds very impressive and important. I have heard of Yorkshire, so I can only assume that means that you are then, I here's the thing. American, barely have my own country figured out. Give me a blank map of the UK, of England. I could not find Yorkshire. I might, maybe, possibly be able to point in the general direction of London. And that's it. That does make me fairly above average, though, for an American citizen in world knowledge. I know the Netherlands very well, though. I lived there. I'm sure if I had spent any time in England, I would know it better. Though I did have I have 3 friends from England. Okay, Yorkshire is the biggest county in the UK. Oh, so it's a county. Okay, that makes a little more sense. Okay. Um, when I lived in China, when I was working there, my manager and 2 of my coworkers were from England. So for the U.S., a county is kind of, yeah. I imagine a county is the English version of a state. We're just so big that we have to have like an extra layer, right? Like city, county, state, then country. It's God, we're such a huge country. When I was in the Netherlands, I remember looking at the train map and I was looking and I was like, okay, I'm going from Breda to, oh, where did I go? Like um uh Den Haag, The Hague, right? For King's Day, the very first King's Day in a long, long, long time. And I remember looking at the map and going like, oh wow, it's all the way across the country. That's gonna take forever. And my friend was like, yeah, it's gonna take like 2, 3 hours. I'm like, wait, what? I can drive 8 hours and not leave my state. Scaled Lord, that's the first time I've ever spoken to her like that. But you did it and you stood your ground. Figuratively, I mean, right now you're kind of just sitting on the floor. Yeah, I need to take a moment. Can we go back to the ballroom? You return to the ballroom and take a moment to recover. If I drive 8 hours, I'll be in this. I know, isn't that it's so insane. I think I saw that the entirety of England is roughly the size of like Alabama, right? Which is not a small state, but it's definitely not one of the big ones. It's that's down in the American South, near like Louisiana and Florida, and that general area. I'm sure even if you don't know American geography, you have to know Florida because it's the part that sticks out. Sea, mud, depends on which way you go. But I was right then, Slime. You're UK, aren't you? Ah, so happy. I love meeting and having friends all around the world. I've got people in China and people in the Netherlands and people in the UK and people in Australia and people in Indonesia and people in Thailand and people in ah it's just so nice. By land area, it's almost identical in size to Oregon. Interesting. That actually is one of the bigger ones. All right, all right. That's probably like what, top 15 out of 50, I would say. Turn, take a moment to recover. You spot Commander White at the edge of the room, but you don't pay him much notice. Takes you a while before you feel ready to stand. You okay? Yeah, I just needed a moment. Anyways, the will reading bought us a few more hours to investigate the murder. Should we take advantage of the new information we just learned? So, where should we start first? Right, you're the Oh, I'm the prosecutor now. I'm the prosecutor, so he answers to me. Oh my goodness. This is like becoming Edgeworth, and Gumshoe is now working for me. Right, you're the prosecutor now, so that would technically make you his boss for the time being. This is weird, right? Yep. Awkwardness aside, I've never really led task force before. What would Stillwind normally do in this situation? Well, she'd normally have us investigate areas of high interest. Right, the context of the investigation tends to change after each round of court proceedings. Well, we're lacking a lot of physical evidence. Could you and the Inquisition search the gallery in Beatrice's room? Perhaps you can find evidence of how the Sword of Spell Eating was stolen. Whatever you say, boss. That covers the Inquisition, but what are we going to do? It's clear that Lord Frega's inheritance plays a large role in this case. Even if it's not valid, we should look at the modified will that he was drafting. It might give us some insight about what he was really planning to do with his inheritance. Each of these tables have a centerpiece of flowers. To be honest, it looks kind of tacky. Their notion of aesthetics must fly over the heads of peasants like us. These chandeliers look fancy enough to be worth a small fortune. The banking houses are loaded, aren't they? Parry or Arcanum? Okay, nothing. Let's move. Okay. Beatrice's bedroom. Little gothy. Little gothy. Don't you think? All right, let's go to the study. I want to see if there's some connection between this room. We're on the second floor, right? William's bedroom. Right? He said he was in a storage room near William's study. Right, right. So the study is where it happened. William's study. Here we go. We left, we went out. Okay, I want to check out this storage room and see. There's got to be a connection somewhere. Where is it? As you enter William's study, you spot a figure rummaging through the drawers in his desk. Why isn't it here? Where else would he put it? Miriam? Wow! She notices you and quickly closes the drawer and walks towards you. But you already saw what she was doing. She was looking for something. This is a crime scene. What are you doing here, Miriam? As if that's any of your business. The character models are so good. Look at that. They would fit right at home in Phoenix Wright. As if that's any of your business. Considering that I'm the prosecutor, it's very much my business. You give a sideways glance to the knights stationed outside the room. They should have stopped her from entering, but perhaps used her status to intimidate them into letting her through. However, this could be a blessing in disguise. She was clearly looking for something in this room, and you have a feeling you know what it was. So, where's the fake will? You appear to be looking for something, Miriam. What could be so important you disturb an active crime scene? It's none of your concern. I'm merely trying to find something that belongs to me. Really, because I have a feeling that we might be looking for the same thing. You're looking for the will that your father was drafting, aren't you? That's. Were you trying to destroy it before we could get to it? No, of course not. I. I just needed to see it for myself. Did she really do this? Oh, is she also suspicious of Beatrice? Uh-oh. We've got ads starting in a little over 2 minutes. Tell me about the modified will. What were you so determined to see it? I just wanted to see what my father's final wishes were. But your father had already had a will filed previously. Wouldn't that be enough? You also suspect something, don't you? Of course not. Beatrice would never do something like this. Miss Frege, I never even mentioned Beatrice. I know how things may look, but please understand I'm just trying to get to the truth. I don't think your sister did this, but she may have been involved. She may have worked with someone else to orchestrate her father's death. Unlike Leif, she didn't immediately deny it. That means she already had her own suspicions. Where's the will, Miriam? I need to see it. I don't know. I haven't been able to find it. She was searching the desk earlier. She's probably telling the truth. It should have been here, but I can't find it. He locked the door when they began drafting it. In addition to that, the Inquisition closed the area off after the body was discovered. That means that someone took it during the lockdown. William's modified will has been added to my notes. It's likely the murderer took and or destroyed it. It was probably stolen by whoever murdered him, right? Yeah, that would make the most sense. Which means that whoever did this wanted to nullify whatever was written on it. It's looking more and more like the motive behind this was William's inheritance. Anyway, it looks like we won't be able to find the will. But the fact that it was taken must imply something. For now, we should follow our other leads. There's also the question of who committed the murder and how. Don't we already know the how? The murderer stole the sword of spell eating and used it to break into the study. That's true, but think of how they would have needed to move around the manor. The murder took place on the first floor within William Frege's study, right? Right over there. But the gallery was on the second floor. Sorry. Let me get out of your way. It's right up here. They would have needed to go upstairs, steal the sword from the gallery, and then use it to nullify the lock on the study. Not only that, they would have needed to go back upstairs and plant the sword in Beatrice's room. About that, if someone conspired with Beatrice to do this, why would they plant the sword in her room? That's a good question. Perhaps they had a falling out. Her partner might have tried to betray her by pinning the blame on her. But if that were true, wouldn't she just sell them out and make a deal with Steelwind? It would be because of the Slayer rule. Slayer rule? I remember the guy at the will mentioned that. What is it? It's a law passed by the Crown centuries ago. According to that law, if someone is involved in another person's death, even accidentally, they're not allowed to inherit the deceased's property. So even if Beatrice wasn't directly responsible, she'd lose her cut of the inheritance if she took a plea deal. More importantly, it doesn't sound like Miriam completely believes in Beatrice's innocence either. If that's true, what else can she tell you? Miriam, it almost sounds like you suspect Beatrice as well. That's... Am I incorrect? I don't know what to think anymore. Why else would she threaten me? Oh, she got threatened by her sister. All right, let's take a little break. Okay. Wait, she was threatened? Miriam, did Beatrice threaten you in some way? What, of course not. Your testimony yesterday was quite convenient for the defense. It almost got the whole case thrown out. And Leif didn't understand what was going on either. With the way she gave her testimony yesterday, it was almost like she was covering for you. Does he seriously not know? Please promise me that you won't tell anyone about this. I'm literally the prosecutor. I won't tell anyone what happened. About an hour after the murder, I was approached by Ruby Taimura. She gave me a list of statements to give in my testimony. The statements weren't true, but she assured me that my status would protect me from any scrutiny. What? She had information that I had tried to keep a secret, and she threatened to make it public unless I co- Holy scheisse. No, she would never do that. I'm telling the truth. Please, you can't tell Timur that I told you. She'll ruin me. Her fear is genuine. She's not lying. I've seen that woman do all kinds of shady shit in the cases I've worked. Forgery, bribery, blackmail, you name it. Oh God, my hot mommy is von Karma. I bet you're just the same successor for the devil of defense attorneys. The rumors, they can't be true. I refuse to believe it. Hey, Tyrant, are you okay? Now is not the time to doubt yourself. There's too much at stake right now. You have a job to do. We should check on Commander White. He might have found something. Okay, just don't push yourself, all right? We have plenty of time to think about this later. There's a trace of illusion magic where the body was. The salient must have used some kind of magical disguise, or they turned themselves invisible. Fireplace, he must have used this to keep warm in the winter. Wonder if it connects upward. It's a painting of some sort of scholar. There's text on it. Rook Resinger, economic scholar and aristocratic accountant. He was known in some circles as Rook the Crook due to his ability to cook the financial records of the four pillar houses. Rook the Cook. Sometimes I wish I could have had a nickname like that. What about Crimson Death Demon? Ugh, not that one. A window, magically reinforced. Large mahogany table. Pool of blood and chalk outline. Bookshelf. All the books are blank. All his real books are on the floor of his desk. All right. I've noticed we rarely have to present things, so I feel like we're good for now. Let's go to Beatrice's bedroom. They're still looking under the bed. Oh, hey, kid. Commander? Still doing a deep search of the room, but we're not done yet. You should probably come back later. Dresser. Alright. Oh, nothing here. As you move around the manor, you peek into the city room to see if Von Sanctus is still there. You don't see him, but you... Oh, holy shizer, who is this man? He's calmly reading some sort of book, but you can sure feel a menacing aura emanating from him. This aura. You must be daft if you think I wouldn't notice your presence. Well, what did he notice? You barely entered the room. You have a chance to respond. He pulls a great axe and rushes towards you. Wait! Bring up your arms to block his blow, but in hindsight, that probably won't do much against an axe that large. Protagus!
Damn, what an absolute Chad.
Incoming raid! Hello, welcome raiders, hello!
Damn, what an absolute Chad.
Hello, hi, welcome in! Kizzy, hello. Kazu, welcome in. Did you guys... Oh, right, I have to do manual shoutouts these days. Let's do Kazu first and shout out at Kikita. Hold up. Oh. Sorry. Kazu first? Yeah, I'm trying to be nice. Should I not be nice to your twinsy? I thought you loved twinsy. Welcome in. Seems this is really early for you. What the heck? Did you already finish your abyssing? Well, welcome in. Hello, Raiders. I don't know that there's literally anyone in your community that doesn't know who I am. But just in case, hi. I'm Mason Crystal. A Mason of the Paladin Order. I am a variety streamer and I mostly play comfy, cozy games like this little mystery homage game to the Phoenix Wright series. Oh, you like the new raid thing? Thank you. I made a couple of them and I was kind of weighing, I'm kind of testing them out. What'd you think of it? I'm so glad. I've been trying to figure out. I wanted to do something to try and like step up and like approach something at your level. I know I'm still far away, but like, you know, you're a wonderful inspiration. But hello, Kazu. Hello, Kizzy, mi corazón. So very happy to see you. I had a horrible bit of a scare because they updated this game, right? And they updated it so much that the save files no longer worked. And I hadn't touched this game in literally like 8 months. And when I went to go in and load my save, no save files. But I waited just long enough that people asked if they could make the classic version of this game, because I guess they changed so much about it. The art style, some of the story elements, some of the mechanics. They changed so much of it that it was like significantly different enough that people were like, we'd like to like have access to the classic version. So they made the classic version a DLC and boom, all my save data was in there, and I was, Dagworth saved my butt by helping me find that. So anyway, we're in like the weirdest part of the story right now. We're a defense attorney who has been turned into the prosecutor for this case. It's really kind of it's crazy. Everything, the whole world's turned upside down. Cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. All right, and we just got attacked by somebody. No idea who just attacked us, some noble. Yeah, this guy. This guy. You're not sure what happened, but it looks like she knocked him several feet backward. Oh, it's you two. Oh, you could have murdered me. What the hell was that? You could have killed him. He shouldn't have snuck up on me like that. I almost cleaved him in two. What snuck up? The doors opened. I was walking in, as the prosecutor should be doing. I'm conducting an investigation. It is Odin. You're right. I didn't even see, like, the eye. Yeah. Is there like a raven motif somewhere? Let me look here. Oh, we've got a little bit of like feathers there. Yeah, I could see it. Yeah, we've definitely got some. Wait, Odin? Well, I mean, spear, axe. Tyrion didn't do anything wrong. Who the hell do you think you are? I am Lord Lucio Steelwind, Grand General of the Wyvern Guard military forces. Oh, your daughter's hot. So this is Prosecutor Steelwind's father. They do share the same intimidating stare, although he's not the most menacing person in the room right now. She's angry. She's kind of hot. Celeste, it's fine. I'm not hurt. What do you mean I'm always... Yeah. Are you not, Big Bear? Are you not eyeing them? Thank you. You think that's bad? Ruby Taimura is technically my mom. And she's fucking hot. Okay? Now, there's no blood. She technically adopted me as her ward when my parents died. Two cute girls on screen. Well, we've got Celeste and Ruby and Arya. Eris is 16, so we're not going there. Leif. You know. Figure out how you feel about Eugene, you know. She looks more than irate right now, but she begrudgingly sheathes her sword. Anyways, Lord Steelwind was one of the people with a motive to murder William Frege. And as a fellow head of a pillar house, he might have some information about William and his affairs. Hello, good sir. Let's talk about us, shall we? Anyway, thank you for coming in, readers. Kizzy, Kazu, if you guys need to raid and run, if you need to go get something to drink, something to eat. I don't know, Kizzy, if you ever actually finally ate or not. I know all the subways were closed. Kazu, I don't know if you got any food or anything, but feel free, go get yourselves and make sure you have yourselves a good night. If you need to raid and run, I will take good care of our community. And Kazu, I need to talk to you about your lore. If looks could kill. McCoy, one might misinterpret that look of yours as murderous intent. Guess you do have some battle instincts after all. I honestly wasn't sure since you so obviously have a silver spoon stuck up your Celeste. Such lack of respect and discipline. If you were one of my soldiers, I'd have you hanged. If I was one of your soldiers, I'd hang myself. Okay, let's all try to stay civil here. Lord Steelwind, you were here at the Lord's Ball when the murder occurred. Am I correct? I was. Do you mind if I ask you some questions? I should not be doing that voice. That's the entire reason I'm having to retire Kren. But do you mind if I ask you some questions about what you saw that night? If that's okay with you, I suppose I must oblige, considering that my daughter has so unceremoniously thrust her responsibilities onto you. I'm sorry about what happened to your daughter. I'm sure you're very worried. It's her own fault for exerting herself despite her injuries. Even the bravest warrior knows when to stay off the battlefield. How can you say that? Your daughter was trying to do the right thing. By prosecuting the heiress of House Frege. She had very little evidence to substantiate her conviction. I made myself the cheapest little saddest cheese sandwich. Just bread, a slice of cheese, and the microwave. And for some reason, it is hitting so hard right now. If she wanted to strike a blow on a rival house, she should have been certain that her enemy would fall. But now, if Beatrice Frege is found innocent, any hopes of an alliance between House Frege and House Steelwind will be completely annihilated. 76 years old. Holy shicer. And his daughter's 18. So he had her like well into his 50s and 60s? Jeez. I should only hope that I live as long and as strong as these people do. Look at these people. Who was his youngest? Her. So, would have been 15, 45. He was 45 when he had his youngest daughter. Interesting. But yeah, thank you, Big Bear. I did catch that. I was just being coy. Anyway. The night of the murder. Where were you throughout the night, Lord Steelwind? I so loathe gatherings like that. They're a complete waste of time. I was in this room, but then I received word that Frega's lost heiress had made an unexpected appearance home. I know you're too... Stop. Thank you. But anyway, she was supposedly speaking with the Crown Prince, so I made my way to the ballroom. Did you speak with him at any point? No, I kept my distance and stayed near the Kingsguard. I needed to make sure she wouldn't try anything. Was this because you were wary of Beatrice Frege? Yes, I was. The Crown Prince has always been a bleeding heart, and the Freges are trained to sharpen their tongue from birth. I needed to make sure that she wouldn't try to interfere with his engagement. You were worried she was going to try to take Aster back. Okay. Refreshing my memory. Arya Steelwind is engaged to his older brother, who isn't on the list currently. But his older brother, the prince, they're engaged, even though she's like, eh. He really likes her. She's kind of meh about him. But it sounds like Beatrice also once had an aim for his older brother. Okay. I was, but it was clear that that wasn't her intention. But you did overhear their conversation. What were they talking about? Their conversation was completely inane. It was all just small talk. Lady Frege spent most of her time playing with Prince Alaric. Right, Aster's younger brother was there too. You know that Beatrice had some role in the murder, even if she wasn't directly responsible. Did she have some unknown goal by speaking with Aster and his brother? You went to the ballroom when you heard that Beatrice had returned. Was this before or after the lockdown? It was before the lockdown. Sounds about right. That means she was accounted for before the theft was reported. And did you see her leave at any point? No. She spoke with the two princes for quite a while. She didn't leave their side until she was arrested for Lord Frege's murder. What? Well, that means she was accounted for the entire night. I need to know exactly what she was saying because I think she was using... Okay, so she was accounted for... Okay, so she's blind, but I think she might have had the familial bond spell with some kind of animal, possibly a rat. I don't know. And I think the reason she was talking so much to the younger Alaric was because she could just say random crap, right? And just like, yeah, turn around, go up, go through there, turn, and she could be guiding her familiar through the ductwork into her father's thing and kill him. Oh, and you can exert spells. What was hers? Is she illusion? She is illusion. And we know that there was illusion magic on his body. Intriguing. Okay. All right. We're getting somewhere. I'm starting to remember everything. But her thoughts said she was an accomplice in William's death. Was she there to distract the King's Guard? Thank you for answering our questions, Lord Steelwind. I'm merely repaying my daughter's debt to you. He was surprisingly cooperative, but that doesn't leave any suspicion off him just yet. I'll need to find more evidence. We should probably move somewhere else. Boy, what your spellcasting is undisciplined, but your battle stances and reflexes are commendable. You have my respect as a warrior, as if that means anything coming from you. What an undisciplined and defiant brat. Yeah, but brats are kind of cute. No magic in the room. All right, let's see. Shelf filled with books, fake books, completely blank. I think all the people in the pictures are like patrons that help get the game published. One of Frigga's ancestors was a band of adventurers. There should be someone in the top left corner. Yeah, that makes more sense. Mahogany chair. So many chandeliers. Door that leads to the coat room. All right, so I guess back to the ballroom. No? Okay, well, if not the ballroom, then back to the bedroom. All right, are we done with the goth room? Keep it in that corner. Oh, I think we found whatever her familiar is. Get away from him. Okay, so they're cornering something near the back. Oh, okay, yeah, that would do it. Cause of death was blood loss after his throat was slashed open. Both carotid arteries were severed, meaning that his death must have followed mere seconds after the wound was inflicted. Body showed several scratch marks on the face and back. Traces of illusion magic. Okay, well, we found the murderer. We found the murder. Is that? You recall spotting that same wolf on the night of the Lord's ball. Has it been in the house since the murder? Intruders must protect Queen. What? Did I just read his thoughts? Protect territory from enemies. But does that mean he sees this room as his home? Wait, Tyrion. Stay back, kid. It's a wild animal. There's no telling what it'll do. You ignore them and continue to approach him. Don't worry, I'm not here to hurt you. This human, he can speak the language of dog? Wait, you can understand me? Why are you talking to it? You're speaking plain dog, of course. Tracker under... This is Tracker? This is Tracker. I've been looking to figure out who Tracker was. What's going on here? Is the Eye of Horus allowing you to speak with him? I've never really tried it before, but perhaps your powers aren't limited to humans. Anyways, this could be a good opportunity. You wonder what else he knows. Tracker, is that your name? How did you? Yes, Tracker is Tracker. That's the name Queen Gib to me. Gib. He's so cute. Tracker. Occupation? Dog. Occupation? Dog. Hold on one second. I need to check something. Okay, we're good. Puppy, I know, right? Dog. Job is dog. Tracker gestures to Leaf when he mentions his queen. He called you his queen. Do you know him, Leif? Yes, but how? How are you talking to it? That's so caught up. Oh, I've just given away the fact that I can read minds. If that's an occupation, I might have a new job goal, right? Well, speaking of courts, we can get our marriage license. Polly. Oh. Okay, I'm better. The ideal career path. Yes, Sage. Yes, Sage. It is the ideal career path. I would love to be dog. Sleep, growl, tummy rubs, eat, go outside, pee on everything. I didn't realize how strange this would look to everyone. I'm a dog whisperer. You've never mentioned that before. Do you honestly expect us to believe something like that? But Tracker says he can understand me. He told me himself. Wait, how do you know that? I'm. So, Leif, how are you able to communicate with Tracker? I suppose there's no sense in hiding it anymore. Tracker is my familiar. That changes everything. If it's not Beatrice's familiar, then she still can't see. So it's the same magical bond Harold has with his monkey. You recall the familiar bond spell allows the caster to telepathically speak with their familiar. All right, chat. You get to bond with one animal as your familiar. And according to the rules, you can only bond with one until one of you dies, but you can see through its eyes. You can communicate with it over any distance. And you can cast spells, your spells, through it. Not that any of you may know spells, but if you did. What animal would be your familiar? Any animal you want. Make sure don't give me something dumb like elephant or like a giant whale or something, because then they'd be of no use. Or a raven or a crow. Oh, I don't think you even need something like this for a raven. You just got to give them food. It is one of my life goals when I think I'm finally settled down in a good place to befriend a corvid, a jackdaw, a blackbird, a crow, a raven, any of them. Maybe a red panda. Oh, red panda or otter. I just learned a few weeks ago that red pandas are the original panda, and panda bears or great pandas are the knockoff. They're not actually pandas. They're just bears, right? The actual first one named a panda was the red panda, and they thought that the pattern on the great panda kind of looked like the red panda. So they're like, oh, okay, so that's a great panda. But because they're so cute and they get all the attention, they've usurped the name. But yes, and otters. Oh, my character's familiar is a slime, but that's not an animal, so it wouldn't work. Otter. Yes, I love otters so much. I used to work with a reporter back in Las Vegas who loved otters. When wait, I thought we were talking about men we like. uh is this his dark material sort of thing where the animal dies? No, no, no. If no, no, no. If one of you dies, the other one's perfectly fine. You just the bond is only broken at death, and then you can go make friends with another animal. Because like that would suck if you had like a goldfish or something, right? Right? Just like, a cat or a dog and they only live like 7 to, 15 years ish. But yeah, I had a reporter that I worked with back in Vegas and she absolutely loved otters. So on her last day, I hand sculpted and painted 2 otters with like water around them, so that it wasn't just like the otter body, it was like a little blue like thing of water around them, so it made like a base, right? And then I put their paws out and I put magnets in their paws. Bonk! And I gave them to her and she went around. It was so cool. She went around going like, "Look, look, look, look at this." And she's like undoing. She's like, "Look, their paws come together. Did you know that otters hold hands when they float so they don't lose each other?" Yeah, she knew about it. So she made it and she did the paws. Yeah, she always had otter facts like otters have like a pouch under their arm or something where they can keep their favorite rock because they have a favorite rock when they grab like a clam or whatever, and they lay back on their belly and they float on their belly and they put the clam on their tum tum and then they pull out their rock and they go pop 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 and they bash it and then they put their rock back and then they eat. That's just she was an amazing reporter. I loved working with her. She was so cool. Ah, I miss her. I miss a lot of people. I have lived everywhere. I have so many people I miss. Anyway, yeah, there we go. So we've got, I would love a pouch to store stuff in. So helper, what's it gonna be? What's your animal? We've got a red panda, we've got an otter, we've got a raven or a crow. I love corvids. I might try that. Um, I kind of want to try to like eventually befriend one. Like they have um they make like these little like stand kind of feeders that like are easily accessible for corvids but not for like other birds, so you can leave stuff out for them, and plus they'll scare off whatever like is there, and like as long as you keep leaving it in the same spot, if they decide they like you, they'll bring you back stuff and they'll leave it where the food was. I'd pick a koala. It's gonna be hot. What are you gonna do with a koala? If you pick a koala, it's gonna well, it's 90% chance it's gonna have chlamydia, and it's gonna be dumb as a box of rocks. It's not gonna be able to eat the food that you want. I'm asking because it'd be yeah, yeah. I guess you could talk to it and ask it to do stuff. If you ask it like but I think it has to like see. You can communicate with them. It doesn't say you control them. But yeah, cause uh koalas are useless. If they weren't cute, they'd be extinct. So come on, helper, you gotta let me know what we're doing here. We've got a corvid, we've got red panda, otter. You recall that the familiar bond spell allows that. Yep, that must be how she's speaking to him. You never mentioned him during our questioning. It wasn't relevant to the investigation, and I've been keeping him a secret from my family. A chinchilla. Oh, so cute. Oh, thank you. it'd be hard to like use it as an attack thing, but like, why would you want to anyway? That'd be so cute. Just have a little chinchilla. Ah. Anyway, chinchillas are cute. That's all I have to say. I've been keeping him a secret from my family. Suppose that makes sense. I doubt William Frigga would have allowed you to keep an animal in his home. Well, I don't appreciate you keeping this info from us, but it doesn't look like anyone got hurt. And aside from this dog, we haven't really found anything new. Damn it. They didn't find any more physical evidence of the theft. Looks like you've run into another dead end. Unless... Hey, who's a good boy? Tracker, I saw you the night of the murder. What? Tracker. Ruh-roh. Ruh-roh. Reconnaissance, so no one questions the cute little rodent scurrying through the room. But it's a chinchilla. It stands out. It's not a common rodent. Wouldn't you rather have like an actual rat or a squirrel or maybe even like a hamster? Even like a chinchilla is a pretty like stand out like thing. If it does get spotted, they're gonna be like, "Is that a chinchilla? Do you guys? Do you guys? Do you guys see? Is that a chinchilla? Do people know that I have a packed animal? Or yeah, you can just say it's a pet. No one will know. How about a Newcastle? I'm sorry, what is a Newcastle Big Boy? That sounds like a beer. Is that an ale? Is that alcohol? What is a Newcastle Big Boy? A spider? Is that what it is? Oh, don't tell Kazu. Don't tell Kazu. Ruh-roh. He's supposed to stay in his room. Wait, is that why you won't allow servants to enter it? I didn't want to keep him in Beatrice's room, but he was very insistent that he stay here. Tracker likes the ambiance. Right. Wait, if you live in this room, did you see who brought the sword of spell eating here? I already asked him about that, but he didn't see anyone. He must have been taking a nap. Either that or he was roaming outside, even though I told him to stay here. Damn it. Tracker see a lot of other things, though. Tracker see many new people that night. Right. He was roaming the manor during the Lord's ball. He must have seen a lot of new people. Wait, if he was walking around, he might have seen something the Inquisition doesn't know about. Tell me what you saw. Tracker see rats. This may be more difficult than you thought. I need you to be more specific. Can you go in order? Tell me about everything you saw that night. Okay. Tracker was taking nap in room, but Tracker woke up from loud sounds outside. Tracker hears small things running in the walls. Running in the walls? Tracker called Queen, but she didn't answer, so Tracker decided to check sound alone. Tracker followed sound outside. That's when Tracker smelled the bad smell. Bad smell? That's when Tracker smelled flying rat. You smelled a flying... Do you mean a pigeon? Tracker could smell where the rat was, so Tracker barked at him. Bark, bark. Tracker must have scared the rat because he fell onto the floor and dropped his stick. The rat had a stick. Tracker could see them now. So Tracker did one final bark to scare them off. The rats were scared and went back into the walls. It went into the walls? That's when Tracker picked up the stick rat dropped. Queen finally answered Tracker. She told him to go back to his room and hide. After message, Tracker brings stick back to room for inspection. Do you remember when this happened? What is time? Yeah, okay, that one's on me. An animal really wouldn't have a concept of that. Well, what did he say, Tyrion? Did you see anything? Well, he definitely saw something. Okay, let's take a moment to work through this. I think the stick might have been the sword. This is just how a dog would talk, right? Right? I love this game. Tracker's an animal. Despite being able to speak with him, his use of words is very primitive. So you should carefully examine his statements. Oh God, now I'm just thinking, if their language is contingent upon the kind of animal they were, think Helper, what your koala would sound like. Just like, I saw my hand. Look at that. Anyway, I feel like cats would talk like they have a big. They already do. Think this. Think this is how furries think talked. Oh, they would know. Furries would know. I trust furries. So you should examine each of his statements. The first thing he heard was small things running in the walls. What did Tracker hear when he woke up? Someone observed something similar that night. Harold? No. Jan. He heard Frigga shout. The servants have been complaining about the sound of rats. Okay. Who's Harold? Is this Harold? It is. Okay. Saw rats running in the vents. Tracker saw rats running. Heard. Tracker heard rats running in the vents. The servants were complaining about rats running through the air vents, so they sent me to take care of it. I remember hearing someone say cats would talk like a disparaged Victor. Please, sir, please, may I have some more kitty kibble? Please, may I have the wet food today? Sir, might I have the wet food? The servants were complaining about rats, and so they sent me to take care of it. I heard one of them running in the vents upstairs, and I followed it here. I figured it had nowhere to go, so I opened it up and put a trap down. He must have heard the rats, but they weren't actually running in the walls, they were running in the vents. The next thing he did was call the queen, but she didn't answer. Why didn't Leif answer Tracker's message? Leif wasn't with him at the time. He must have called out to her telepathically. Beatrice was distracted. No. Leif was distracted by the Inquisition. Not by Beatrice. No. She didn't want Tracker to leave the room. If we contacted her, she would have said something in response. So something must be. The anti-magic field. So something else must have happened. What? The familiar bond was nullified. That's what I was basically saying. Okay, the familiar bond was nullified by an anti-magic field. That's what I was trying to get at. I remember hearing some doesn't feed them for 20 minutes. Mother has not fed me in years. Mother cares not for me. I shall die anon. Here's your tip. Replace soon with anon. You get 20% more points. The telepathic capabilities granted by familiar bond were disabled by the anti-magic field, which means this encounter happened during the lockdown. So that covers his first two statements, but you're not really sure what to make of the flying rat. Tracker, why did you refer to the rat as flying? Because rats don't usually jump and fly. Yeah, I got that. Is it possible that what you saw wasn't really a rat? Rats are rats. They're small things that run and hide. So rat is a general term for him. He uses it to refer to small animals that are acting suspiciously. Anyways, with everything you know now, his last statement doesn't make sense. Oh my god. Does she have a bat familiar, you think? Why did Tracker finally hear Leif? He said that the queen finally answered him after he picked up the stick, which was the spell-eating sword. That shouldn't have been possible due to the anti-magic field. The stick that was stolen was actually the sword of spell-eating. What? His attempts... stick that Tracker obtained. There we go. You saw what I meant. Very Phoenix right. Tracker, about that stick you found, where did you put it after you came back to this room? Tracker hid stick in safe space under the bed. And this stick, did it look like the sword that my friend is carrying? What? Hey, your friend stole my other stick. Wait, your other stick? Yeah, Tracker found it while he was hiding from the Meadow Men. Meadow Men? Wait, is he referring to the King's Guard? He must have left the bedroom while they were searching for the sword of spell eating. Wait, are you the one who stole Celeste's sword? Tracker! Did Tracker do a bad? It's as I suspected. Tracker was the one that brought the sword of spell eating here. What? I have no idea how or why, but the sword of spell eating was lying in a hallway somewhere. Tracker found it and brought it back to Beatrice's room. His room. That can't be. So the person who framed Beatrice for the theft was... If it weren't for Tracker, the Inquisition would never have honed in on Beatrice at all. But why would the sword of spell eating be lying in a random hallway? Leif, do you mind if I borrow Tracker for a little bit? It's okay, Queen. He smell good. Tracker, trust him. Thanks, I guess? Okay. But only if you allow me to accompany you. I know about Miriam's position. But how does Leif feel about me prosecuting Beatrice? It's possible she might try to sabotage the investigation if you let her accompany. But as Tracker's owner, you really don't have a choice. You nod to Leif, but you also send a subtle gesture to Celeste to keep an eye open. Subtle. This is me. Subtle. She silently nods and follows behind her. All right, Tracker, can you take us to the hallway where you found these rats? Sure thing, King. It looks like you've received a promotion. Highly extravagant bed. This is Tracker's bed. It's like resting on a cloud. Dresser covered in dust. Table for guests. Repario Arcanum. All right, to the hallway. You allow Tracker to lead you to the location where he found the sword of spell eating. Surprisingly, it's fairly close to Beatrice's room. Oh, I see a vent. Beatrice's bedroom, which is right above the storage room. And then into the study. He apparently didn't travel far before he met those rats he mentioned. As you continue towards your destination, Tracker suddenly becomes extremely tense. Tracker, what's wrong? Enemy. Oh, before you even have a chance to react, Tracker steps between you and Eris and begins angrily barking at her. Oh dear. Tracker, stop that. Leif tries to calm Tracker down, but he's undeterred. He continues to bark at Eris, and it looks like it's taking all of Leif's strength to hold him back. I'm terribly sorry. He's not usually like this. It's to be expected. I'm not sure why, but animals have always... Oh, shh! Did anyone else see that? Am I tripping? Have always disliked me. What is Eris doing here? You recall seeing her at the barracks, too. She said that her father is friends with Beatrice, but is she involved in this case somehow? Anyway, you came here for a purpose. You should examine this hallway and see if you find any clues. Yeah, right there. Air vent. It appears to go from the ceiling to the ground floor. Is this where the rat escaped to, Tracker? That is where the jumping rat went. I thought you said it was a flying rat. Tracker see that too. Okay, it'd probably be better just to move on. Anyways, where did this rat come from? Rat come out of the other wall. You mean the vent on the opposite side? Yes, Tracker saw a flying rat escape that way. What was this rat doing here in the first place? Illusion magic, I bet. What do you see? The vents here have traces of illusion magic inside them. The traces also go deep inside these vents. It's the same for the vents on the other side, too. Why would there be traces of illusion magic inside the vents? What spell could possibly have left those traces? As I told you many months ago, illusion spells tend to do one of two things. They either create freestanding illusions, or they disguise an existing creature. I doubt someone created a small freestanding illusion in the vents, so a disguised creature must have been inside these vents at some point. But these vents are tiny. No one would be able to fit inside them. Tracker could see them now, so Tracker did one final bork to scare them off. The rats were scared and went back into the walls. But a rat would be able to fit into these vents. Well, yeah, I guess that'd be true, but that would mean the rat had an illusion spell active on it at the time. It's not only that. He said the queen finally answered him, and this happened after he picked up a stick, but that shouldn't have been possible because of the anti-magic field. Tracker saw this rat during the lockdown. They would have been inside the anti-magic field created by the lockdown. There can be only one way that the rat could have an illusion spell active on it. You can't mean that rat was holding the sword of spell eating. But how is that possible? A rat wouldn't have the strength or hands to carry the sword. Tracker's vocabulary is primitive and limited. He used this word rat to describe small... Oh God, is it the monkey? Is it the monkey? It might be the monkey, guys. But even if it wasn't an actual rat, it could still have been a human, right? You're right, it would have been a small animal. A small animal with the strength and dexterity to traverse a small air vent while holding a sword. There we go. Sorry, but I have to ask, is that a monkey riding on your back? Yes, this is my familiar, Eugene. Oh, we got ads starting in 3 minutes. No, are you serious? We know that Harold had a motive to kill William Friegel. He was planning to defund the Haraldson Hall of History. They had an argument that night, and that's when William Frege decided that he was going to defund Harold's museums. He must have struck a deal with Beatrice, and with Beatrice's portion of the House Frege, she could have easily kept his museum funded. He could have faked the robbery and sent his familiar to murder William. I can't believe this. And there's something else that Tracker said. Tracker could smell where the rat was, so Tracker borked at him. Tracker must have scared Rat because he fell onto the floor and dropped his stick. The rat had a stick. Tracker, you said you had to smell to see where the rat was. 'Cause he was invisible. And when he dropped his stick, you were finally able to see him. Does this mean you couldn't visually see him before he fell? Yeah, Tracker couldn't see Rat with his eyes, so Tracker used his nose to see it. The monkey was invisible. Huh? No one would have noticed the small invisible animal. In addition to that, he moved through the air vents. Eugene would have been nearly undetectable that night. Beatrice is a master of illusion magic, so it's possible she cast invisibility on Eugene. One of the highest forms of illusion magic, the spell makes the target or creature completely invisible. While invisible, the target will be completely transparent and undetectable visually. If targeting a creature, the spell will also affect anything the creature is wearing or holding. Occult RA. And then there's the position of this air vent. We're currently in the hallway just north of Beatrice's bedroom. And this air vent connects to the ground floor. If we align the two maps together, the vent must lead to the storage room. I called it! Right, the air vent there curved upwards. It must be where it leads. And according to Jan, that air vent led directly to William's study. It would have been the perfect route to enter William's study and leave undetected. But he wouldn't have needed to nullify the lock to enter that room. Why would he need to use the sort of spell he did at all? Because of familiar bond, they can telepathically communicate with each other. Harold probably needed Eugene to hold the sword so he could tell him exactly where to go. The sword's magic affects anyone magically connected to the wielder, and familiar bond connects them magically. It makes sense now. Harold could easily fake the robbery to take suspicion off of him. It's even possible that he was lying about how the glass display was shattered. But I've known Lord Harrison for many years. I just can't believe he'd be involved in this. She may have known him for a long time, but she's never read his thoughts. His thoughts were very hostile and rude, despite his kind expression. He's very good at hiding what he's truly feeling. And Beatrice, there's no way she'd participate in a plan like this. Look, Leif, I know you don't want to suspect your sister, but it's not that. Beatrice would never trust anyone enough to work together like this. She's completely blind. She wouldn't have much of a choice. Even so, she's not the type of person to trust her accomplice to stay quiet. She'd find a way to carry out a plan herself, and she'd only employ someone else's help if she had full control of him. Leif probably knows her better than you do, but you doubt that working alone would be possible with her condition. You can't think of any other way she'd be involved. She has a familiar. Anyways, we're finished here, aren't we? Yes. Thank you for lending Tracker to us, Leif. I only want to help you find out what really happened. Don't make me regret trusting you, Mr. Cuthbert. If you're truly on the side of justice, then you won't. Good. Now if you excuse me. So that's it. We finally know what really committed the murder. And if you can get Harold to confess on the stand, he might reveal Beatrice's involvement as well. If he does that, you might be able to convince her and Ms. Timora to take a plea deal. Although, knowing Ms. Timora, that will be easier said than done. Anyways, this definitely is the lead we've been looking for. But is it really, though? We don't have any physical evidence. It'll have to do for now. We're running out of time. We'll just have to call Harold to the stand to testify about what he did that night. If I can push him far enough, I might be able to catch him lying. Doubt it'll be that easy. He's got a good poker face. Just how much will we be able to hide his true thoughts? Sorry, I didn't realize we were in ads already. All right, we're back. All right. I already gave my statement to the Inquisition. Is my testimony really necessary? Sorry, old timer. Old timer? Old timer? 64? No idea. Does he wear those earrings? My orders come straight from the prosecutor. We're going to need you on the stand today. I understand. I'll do what I can to help. Bum, 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 bum. All right, it's getting pretty late. Probably should have done this before the break, but you know, is what it is. Well, normally I would raid Kizzy, but you know, that's not happening. So, does anyone have a raid target in mind? It's 2 a.m. for me, so I'm thinking I should probably get some sleep at some point. Whoa, watch it. Oh, wow, that just kills the whole game, doesn't it? Doesn't even bring it back to the menu. That's awesome. That's, okay. Okay. Let's see who we got. Not many people I really know that well. So, yeah. Anyone got any raid targets in mind? Let's see who we could potentially raid. Should find someone new. Okay, I'm gonna guess that Tiring Cuthbert is not. There we go. Yeah, I'm literally the only one streaming it, obviously. But what if there's someone streaming Phoenix, or no, Ace Attorney, that's it. Is there anyone streaming Ace Attorney? There's a few people. Anyone streaming it in English? Let me see. This is definitely in Japanese. Okay. So not there. Ace Attorney. See anyone that's doing Ace Attorney right now? Emiko. Holy crap, Emiko! I do know Emiko. Okay, all right. I've got our raid target. All right, everyone. So please grab your raid messages as we get ready to raid Emiko. There we are. Emiko Mori. Echo. All right, everyone. Thank you so very much for joining me. If you were enjoying Cuthbert, then you should enjoy Phoenix Wright. Or this is the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, which is sort of a prequel that happened in like ancient Japan. Not ancient Japan, like Edo period Japan, turn of the century. Anyway, very fun stuff. So, thank you very much. I'm going to try to maybe sneak in another stream tomorrow at some point, maybe in the evening. But until then, Thank you so very much. I had a blast with all of you. I love you all. Thank you for coming. And don't forget, next Saturday, it's a cartoon stream with Kizzy. And after that, the 25th is number 1, a collab with Kizzy and Barry. But also, it's technically my birthday, so you don't have to worry about that one as much. Anyway, thank you very much. Love you all. Mwah. Bye-bye.